All right, I think it's time to reintroduce a simple concept that most of us have forgotten. As we've gotten more into this political climate and everything's just so left, right, no one wants to have a conversation. The irony is I'm not talking about politics. I'm going to talk about my faith in, my testimony in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And have you ever noticed how no one ever makes fun of any other religion except for, we make fun of it, but no one gets mad and upset to the extent that we do about Christianity. Now, I don't know if that's just a history thing or if people have just been so hurt by the church. And I'm not a church authority. I will never say that I'm a church authority. I'm just someone who found happiness, and I found happiness and peace. Let me rephrase that, happiness. I found peace and fulfillment in my sacrifice to decide that I would follow Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. I believe in a Christian God, but I'm never going to be like, you have to do that, otherwise you're going to hell. I'm not fire and brimstone. I'm someone who says that if you choose this path, it's a great way to live. And I promote it because it's brought me so much joy. And even in the times where I've struggled, I have that joy to come back to. Because I feel like a lot of people who get really upset don't have something to fall back on. And biblical or not, correct or not, it's not so much that it's like, actually kind of, I started as a safety insurance. Like if there's nothing at the end of the world, if there's nothing when you die, and it's darkness, I don't know. I'm dead, I'm gone. I don't lose anything. But if there is something, and I don't believe in it, I don't want to find out then. That's how it started for me. And as I grew up, it kind of showed, like, faith in Christianity, my beliefs, really showed up in every aspect of my life. From the idea that I, as a person, I am someone who, being Asian, get things done. Be on time. Follow this. Be exactly as we tell you to do. Anyone who was raised in a traditional Asian household, typical, I can only speak as being Asian, but I've heard from my friends and my wife who are also have ethnicities. Sorry, white is not an ethnicity. If you have, if I told a friend's girlfriend once, she's like, I'm Scottish, British, Irish. I'm like, no. If you have no cultural connection to any of those things, you're white. That's it. You're white. And that's not white bashing. Like, I know people are gonna get upset about that, but it's real. You're not. See, so I have a Filipino son, half of it, because I'm Filipino, or culturally Filipino. This is old Babayan with the Spanish script because my grandmother is Spanish and my family was raised in the Philippines. And I like to respect that cultural side of me. And so bringing it back to my faith, have you ever noticed how no one ever makes fun of any other religion? Well, people will poke fun at it, but no one ever actually gets like hate about any other religion. I have friends across the board. Like, I have friends who are Buddhist, Hindu, Muslim, and I love them all. People are people. I think that's what we've forgotten. I firmly believe that there is one true God and that we all follow God. I choose to follow Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior and a Christian God. Now, the point I'm trying to make here is that as an Asian, I am very lazy. As a person, I'm very lazy. I don't enjoy having to think too much. I like thinking because I choose to think. I don't like thinking because someone says, you have to do this, you have to think about this, you have to think about the politics and everything going on in every other country except for America. You have to accept that we're going to send all of our tax money to other countries and you're going to like it because you should think about everyone else. Yes and no. Jesus, when one of his first miracles, one of the primary miracles people think about is him feeding the thousands, right? They didn't have food. They had thousands that they were going to speak to, that he was going to preach and save, and didn't have anything to feed them with. They were getting restless. They were probably getting annoyed. When you get hangry, nothing connects for you. So his kid comes up and is like, hey, I got a couple of fish. I got a couple of fish and a couple loaves of bread. And Jesus multiplied it. And when Jesus did that and fed the masses, then they listened. At a certain point, You are doing so much for everyone else, thinking about everyone else, focusing on everyone else, that you have not fed yourself. You have not heard yourself. You have not taken care of yourself. And how do you think you're going to take care of others if you haven't taken care of yourself? This isn't just about faith. This isn't just about religion and my testimony. This is about the fact that you don't have a standard. Whether it is literally in religion with Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, with the Bible, with the Quran, whatever it is, with science, with whatever Darwin writes, you don't have a standard for your life. You don't have a standard to measure things up to. So because you don't have a standard to measure things up to, you fall for everything. Care about Palestine, care about Israel, care about Ukraine, care about Russia. No one cares. You shouldn't care if you're not from those countries, because we have problems on our own. I work in social services, and we see all the veterans who come home after war who have been discharged, and they've got nothing to look forward to. I've also worked in social services where we have a lot of immigrants and migrants who are seeking refuge. And we'll spend all this money taking care of them, but we won't take care of the people who fight for the rights that the people who come back from war fought for, so that those migrants can come here and have those freedoms. There's no such thing as a Canadian dream. There's no such thing as a Mexican dream. There's no such thing as a German, Chinese, Russian, Ukrainian, Israeli dream. There's only and will only ever be the American dream. And once we can I'm an American. I was born in America to American citizens. I'm very blessed to have been here. I won the lottery, as Creed Bratton says. Born in the USA, baby. And I'm proud of it. And while I love where my parents come from, I love the culture I was raised in. Their country is not my problem if my country is not taken care of. Other people's problems are not your problem if you can't take care of your own problems, or as long as you are at least taking care of your own problems. If you have friends who are struggling, help them. That's what you're here for. We're here to be in a community. But you can't help them if you can't help yourself. If you have friends who are trying to find relationships and be happier in their relationships, but you are pissed, poor, and mad in your relationship, you're just going to project what your problems are onto them. How do you think it's going to help anyone? That's why we're where we're at. Our single friends have no idea how to date because it's a cycle. I'm not going to blame men. I'm not going to blame women. I'm just going to say that there are people who have ruined it for both sides. Men have not shown up for women, so their women have to show up for themselves. Because they show up for themselves and they have this I'm strong, independent woman, don't need no man, and make my own money kind of mentality. Men aren't attracted to that. They're not. Real men do not want I don't want to date my dude friends. I, as a man, want to have a partner who I can come to who is feminine. As a masculine, I want to be with a feminine. That is my preference. Don't care how you roll. Live your life. Be happy. But realistically, opposites attract because it works that way. Two magnets on the same pole, like positive, repel each other because they're not meant to connect. It's a puzzle piece that fits together, right? Men and women literally, can I do that? Fit together. That's how it was created. We're attracted to the things that help fulfill us, right? You like that car because you think it's going to fulfill you. Oh, I have the status now. People who do really well in business have a chip on their shoulder. I wasn't smart enough in high school, so I hired the people who made fun of me, kind of thing, right? I want a Mercedes G-Wagon. That's my dream car. That is my goal car. A Mercedes G-Wagon. One, because its G63 is like, I think its G63 AMG is like $300,000. Not because I want to swing around a $300,000 car, but it's because, hey, we've done so well, we've served so many people that we have the ability to drive whatever we want to drive. Is it the best car? No. Hondas and Toyotas are probably the most reliable cars you can use. But no one dreams about getting a Toyota. No one dreams that, actually nowadays, I love my 4Runner. People love 4Runners. No one dreams about those things because they are achievable. But when you have such a high goal and a high standard that you have to do everything you can to get there, that is different. You've given yourself the opportunity to say, what do I need to do? Who do I need to become in order to hit that goal? Versus if you lower your standards, like, okay, I'm just going to take whatever comes along. When is the last time that ever worked for you? college, you see these degrees here, college isn't about I don't think it's even about education anymore. If you want education, go online. Everything's on YouTube. This is going to be on YouTube. Everything you want to know is on YouTube. I learned how to, I screwed off all semester in physics, went on Khan Academy, learned physics in like 2 nights, and got 90 on my final, like back in the day. You can learn it all online. So the time aspect doesn't matter. What is it that you want in life? What is the standard you're holding yourself up to? For me, the example I'm using here is my faith in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. There's a Bible, here's a standard, follow it. And I don't have to think about everything else. I follow the Bible, it works for me, I'm happy. Here's the Constitution, we follow the Constitution, I'm happy. Does that mean that you just stay by it and never change it? No, you should change as time changes. But there are standards that remain the same. It's like when people are like, I'm a good person because I'm just a good person. No, you're a good person because someone taught you how to be a good person. You flew out of your mom's vagina crying and screaming at the world. If no one taught you that you had to wait in line, if no one taught you to pick up your stuff, if no one taught you put your clothes away, if no one taught you basic common ethics, you would not be a good person. Plain as that. And then people are like, I'm just a good person because I'm a good person. No, you have parents who taught you those things. And even if they're atheist, they learned it from someone else who probably was not atheist, who learned the standard. And I'm ready for all the comments of like, no, our cavemen knew better. Like, no, they didn't. If you want to complain about today's society, really think about how caveman existed. I like your house. Bonk my house now. You can't do that. I mean, you can. You can't do that nowadays without some kind of legal repercussions, hopefully. I don't know with what's going on in the world nowadays. My point on this day is, as you go into the weekend, what are your standards? What are the things that you are holding yourself to? What are the things that you're not willing to move? And ask yourself, is that out of arrogance or is that because it is a standard? Because if it's out of arrogance, you feel an inner pain when someone challenges it. When it's a standard, it's like the idea that truth is truth. You don't need to defend the truth. The truth is just going to exist. So if you know the truth of what's happening and people start gossiping about you, you don't have to do anything because, okay, that's fine. If that's what you think, I know it's real. You find peace. But when it's arrogance, you're like, no, I have to prove them wrong. They said I'm a bad person, but I'm not a bad person. I'm going to show them I'm not a bad person. You spend all your time and energy on everyone else. You forget to think about, am I a bad person? That's a good question. Do you ever notice that? When you get defensive, it's because you're defending a lie. Actually, we're going to leave it at that. For those of you who made this your first video with us, I'm Lawrence with Candle. I'm a coach, mindset, thought trainer, whatever you want to call it. Not T-H-O-T, thought. T-H-O-U-G-H-T, thought. If you change your thoughts, you change your actions. If you change your thoughts, you change your emotions and your feelings. You change your feelings and emotions, you change your actions. You change your actions, you change your habits. You change your habits, you change the legacy you leave in the world, which is all you're going to be remembered by. Whether or not that is something you care about, that's something I care about. I want to have kids. I want to give them a good name. I want to give them a good life. In order to give them a good name and good life, I have to leave a good legacy. In order to leave a good legacy, I have to have good habits. In order to have good habits, I have to act in a way that builds that habit. In order to act, sometimes it comes from a feeling. What is the real, raw feeling that you get that forces you to act? And that comes from the frame and your thoughts. So if I can help you change your thoughts and actions, you change your life. For the better, hopefully for the better. I'm just going to state that. In peace, love, and light. Good morning, good afternoon, good night from wherever you're watching. This is Lawrence with Candle, signing off.